Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 10th edition of the Bus Drivers Are Out podcast with your host, me, Brian Cullen. We are 2 episodes into the Rivals 2 season, so to help break down the first 2 episodes, I spoke with the man who has won both challenges on the men's side, Zach. We discussed some of his mindsets going into the season about setting up an alliance and how things compared to Battle of the Seasons, as well as talking about his relationships with 2 of the more influential real worlders in his life, Frank and Jonna. Plus, we got some of the secrets into what happened in some of the challenges and in the house as well. So before we get to all that, let me just first remind you to follow me on Twitter at BusDriversAreOut. Go to my blog, BusDriversAreOut.com, and make sure to subscribe to these YouTube videos so right when I do them throughout the season, they'll be sent immediately to you. All right, so that's all the self-promotion I need for now. So here is Zach. Hey, so everything's going good by you?
Yeah, everything's great.
Good. So you walk into Battle of the Seasons and win. Now, first 2 episodes in the Rivals, you win both challenges. You know it's not supposed to be this simple to win, right?
Yes, I know. It's not, but I had a good partner in Rivals. You know, he was athletic, and he put his pride aside, and he did everything I asked of him, and I had a good team in Battle of the Seasons, so I've been pretty blessed when it comes to teammates.
Yeah. So in Battle of the Seasons, you were a rookie, but you actually found yourself in a power position pretty quickly. Were you worried that with more veterans on this season that you might have to start a little bit more at the bottom of the totem pole and work your way up?
No, I'm not really worried about many of the veterans. I met CT before I went in there. We got along pretty well, and I'm not, going against anyone head-to-head in anything. I think, and they all have I think everyone has a good amount of respect for me too as a competitor. So I kind of felt like I went in with almost as a veteran in this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I kind of got that sense too.
I mean, look, I'm 2 inches taller than the next person and 40 pounds heavier. So
yeah, you're not exactly your typical rookie or second-year guy. You have the physique of a veteran. So no one's really going to want to go against you early on.
And I love one-on-one competition, so I feel like in an elimination round is when I'm at my best.
Yeah, exactly. So for Rivals this season, it seemed like a lot of the pairs were kind of forced rivalries. But with you and Trey, it did actually seem like there was real animosity between you two. So what was your relationship like with Trey heading into the season?
I mean, like I said on my soundbite, I said going into it, there was, in that line of people, there was 30, not counting me, there was 30 people that I could get along with, and there was one person that I didn't want to see there, and it was Trey. So when they said Rivals 2, there was no doubt in my mind I would be paired with him, but at the same time I knew how Trey was. I knew how he acted on Battle of Seasons, and he wanted to win. More than anything, he wanted to win. So I knew that no matter what, he would want to win. And it was, even though I was like, oh, I got to work with this douchebag, but I was like, at least he wants to win, and he'll do anything to win. And he's got an extreme amount of confidence in himself, which is never a bad thing to have.
Right. When you first saw who the cast was and everything, was there anyone in particular you thought actually would have your back throughout this entire season that you can form a strong alliance with?
I knew I could actually. Funny, I didn't meet him before, but I know Knight would have my back. I knew Preston. Not that means much, but it's Preston. But I knew that we were good friends. I knew CT didn't want to go against me, and I knew that Wes didn't want to go against me, so I figured we would have a good alliance. But to be honest with you, and Leroy and I are good friends. I knew that we would be able to work together pretty well. But to be honest with you, when you don't know what the game is and you don't know how the voting's going to go, it really doesn't matter. Like, someone can say they have your back all they want, but when it comes down to it, it's pretty much a selfish game. So
Right. And on the other side, was there anyone that I guess with Trey, but once you found out he was your partner, was there anyone you kind of just wanted to target to get them out of the game as quickly as possible?
Yeah, I mean, obviously there was one guy standing in there that's got, 4 challenge wins, and it's Johnny Bananas. I mean, no, I don't want to see him win again. I don't think a lot of people want to see him win again. I wasn't all that impressed with him as a competitor. Politically, it was unreal to see the just get votes and convince people of stuff, because if you remember a while back when Wes used to, manipulate people and do anything he wanted, and that came down, that came crashing down, that empire came crashing down, and Wes, ultimately got thrown off really early on a few challenges. So I'm sitting back kind of waiting on that time to come, because you can only burn so many people before, it's like 2 seasons in Rome. You can only burn so many people before, it all comes back to you.
Yeah, Johnny has that weird knack to, screw people over, but then kind of, talk his way out of it, so people are like, oh, okay, I kind of see why he did it, and then the next season they're right back on his side, which is something that Wes wasn't able to do.
Oh, yeah, and the other thing, though, is it's funny because Wes doesn't really, as much as people think he's, this villain, he's really one of the funnest, best people to talk to on the show. So, at the end of the day, he really doesn't care either. I mean, Wes is very successful outside of challenges. He's, he owns, 40 or some companies, and there's Johnny, and this is how he pays for everything. This is his life, So I guess he kind of has to have that role, he lives for it, so he's unemployed outside of the challenge, whereas, it just makes sense that he would have to do that. He would have to campaign. He'd have to do all this because this is his well-being. So, but yeah, I mean, he's incredible at the political part of the game, and after a while, you can only walk so many tight ropes, 30 feet above the water until you get, used to that too.
Yeah, definitely. So one of the people you have a really complicated relationship is with Frank. Now in San Diego, you guys butted heads a lot, but then last season it seemed like you formed a friendship. But now it kind of seems like you're a little on edge again. How did you two stand going into this season?
Honestly, going into this season, I believe that we were friends. I caught him in a lie right before we went on the season, a pretty big lie, and he wasn't very truthful with me. So I kind of knew when it comes down to it, I always had in the back of my head, no, it's a game. That what you're going into is a game. It's like being put, like you're a Monopoly piece, and you're put into this board with other people, and he knows it's a game too. And I think one of the reasons why we got along so well, but we clashed so much, is we're both ultra competitive with each other, because within your own season, that's kind of like your immediate family, and then everyone else, it's like stems out, and it's like, okay, we all share this certain bond, or we all went through the same situation. But the people in your season, there's something you have with them that you don't have with anyone else. And with Frank and I, it just is, we just want to, if we're on the same team, we want to win. But we also want to be the best one on the team. And that's why I think it was so good on Battle of the Seasons, because we try to beat each other while beating everyone else. And when you have two people competing that hard, nothing but good things are going to happen. However, now you see him with someone that he hates, but going into it, Frank told me he wanted to get rid of him. So now Frank's with someone he wanted to get off the show, and it just, it's a tough environment for a friendship, especially because our friendship is really, what is it based off of? I mean, on Battle of the Seasons, he screwed me over. He sent me in.
Yeah.
And then I, in turn, protected him and got him to a final and, ran the final with him. So it's kind of funny how that friendship was, if you really think about it. We were on the same team and things were fine and dandy until we got thrown into an elimination round, in which case this kid who said he was my friend, threw me under the bus. So we weren't even, that's not what a friend would do. And then, I come back and in turn we get thrown into another elimination round. And if I wouldn't have volunteered, people would have voted him in, but I protected his ass, kept our whole team there, and, pretty much wrote him a paycheck. So if you think about it, what was our friendship based off of? Do I have an amount of respect for him as a competitor? Yes. Do I necessarily want him, in my corner? No, because as soon as, you'll see as soon as things get sick or, he's not going to stand behind you the whole time. He's very individually motivated, which is fine because it's a game and there's no hard feelings there. It's just when you think someone's your friend but they lie to you or, they backstab you, it's just you learn a lot about their character.
Now, in Battle of the Seasons and for some time afterward, you and Jonna were actually together. So I was just curious what your dynamic was with her this season, if you had any interaction, or if you kind of stayed your separate ways.
Yeah, we just stayed our separate ways. There wasn't really not much to have been said between the two of us. Everything was, pretty much done by the reunion.
Mm-hmm.
and I pretty much just ignored that she was eating in the house.
Okay. So now with the twist of the girls running for the guys, do you feel that she would hold some type of grudge and try to get you out, or are you guys just totally just indifferent with each other?
Oh, it was very indifferent, and at first I was like, you know what, she might vote against me. However, the fact that she was teammates with Nani, and even though Nani and I weren't very close on battle of the season, in fact, she probably hated me, we were both able to agree and say, hey, I know you, I've done a show with you, and I was like, I can give you my word that I'm not going to toss you in. And she was like, yeah, I can do the same for you too. So the good thing about that was Nani is a very level-headed competitor. Like she'll lose it on people and she'll go in on them, but for the most part, Nani, if you tell her, she's a good person, and you tell her what's going on. So that was, luckily for me, I didn't have to worry about that because of Nani.
Yeah. So overall, did you think that twist with the girls voting for the guys actually helps you going forward? I mean, if you win every challenge, it won't matter, but just in the off chance you guys actually lose one.
Trey and I went into it wanting to win everything. We didn't care. A lot of people were like, oh, we just kind of want to be middle of the pack. No, I want to win. I want the extra money, and I want, to be safe no matter what. However, I think Trey and I posed such, a physical threat that even if the girls didn't like us, because to be honest with you, Trey did not spend much time out of his room. He just chilled. He didn't campaign. He didn't politic. And then there was me, who just pretty much worked out and slept the whole time I was there. So I really didn't politic much either, but because we had such a physical presence over people, the girls were able to look at us and be like, okay, they're a good team, so yeah, why are we gonna they're gonna win or they're gonna be here, so why are we gonna piss them off, especially if they're a good team, because they'll end up holding a lot of power. So it was pretty much just almost like an unspoken agreement between a lot of the teams, like we'll respect your wishes and we'll take care of you as long as you don't come after us, because we were a very physically talented team, and I'm not very dumb either. Like, I can figure it, I'll pause it out if I have to.
Exactly. So with the way the season is structured, where there's a girls' day and a guys' day in terms of challenges, is it tough to get the competitive juices flowing when there's no chance you can be up for elimination, or do you just always want to win everything you do?
I think my parents instilled, in me to be a winner and to compete in everything I do. So really, and if someone says there's money on the line, I don't care what it is. I don't care. I wanted to win everything. I wasn't trying to kill anyone. Like, I wasn't trying to be mad at Trey if we didn't, but we both knew, like, no matter what, we wanted to win.
So the challenge this week was not something you probably do that often, but what was your kind of initial reaction when you heard exactly what you and Trey were going to have to do this week?
I mean, luckily, first of all, I went into it and I thought, well, thank God this is not a guy day.
Yeah.
But then it was just so stupid, but then it was just really easy because it was like one person has to carry another person. Well, I'm 230 pounds and you're 160 pounds, so I'll be carrying you. And, I didn't think, we were second to last after that stupid slogging thing, but we literally, Marlon and Jordan had a 6-second head start on us, and we beat them to the end of the obstacle course. So, we were down there before them, so it just was, I didn't really care what we had to do. I knew we were going to win, and it really, I don't go into these things anymore thinking every single challenge is going to be a headbanger or a physical thing. Some of them are stupid, some of them are, and some of them you don't even break a sweat. You sit there and answer questions. So you just got to be ready for anything. And it's funny because on my first show on Battle of the Seasons, I was nervous. Like, I was going to a football game for every challenge. And then this one, I just sat there and hung out and was like, whatever it is, you don't know what it's going to be and you can't control it. It's not like you can have a game plan. So it's more of just one that's kind of took it a lot more lightly and had a little more fun with it.
Now, I heard from other interviews from people talking throughout the week that there was actually a station that was cut out from the airing of the show. Is that true?
There was a what? Oh, yeah.
There was, in the challenge?
Yeah, it was pretty stupid. It was like one partner sat on a big barrel and it had a keg tap on it and it had a white liquid. And one partner sat on top of it and the keg tap was in between their legs and you had to, look like you were jerking your partner off, and then the white liquid would come out of this, long tube and you would fill his cup up. But I actually broke my tap because I was pumping too hard. So they cut it out of the whole, you couldn't even see it, but that was the second station before you got strapped into the 69 position.
Yeah. and then before the challenge, Cara Maria was brought out as Cook's new partner to absolutely dead silence. So was that edited to make it look that way, or was it that just crickets?
Okay, what really happened was I had no idea who it was going to be. But normally in these shows, every time TJ walks onto the screen, every time there's like a challenger's brought in, like people cheer. So I thought it would be funny if there was silence. It could have been Laurel, it could have been Coral, not to rhyme, but it could have been anyway. It could have been a challenge, a great. I just said like, all right, nobody cheer, And then we saw Cara Maria. A lot of the girls weren't excited because Cara Maria is, she's a good competitor, and a lot of the guys weren't excited because Cara Maria doesn't conform. She's not a sheep, and like by sheep I mean like in these shows, if you've kind of noticed when there's veterans on it, there seems to be a pattern of the way things happen. Like if there's if there's all the veterans on the show, before the show even starts, a lot of people could look at the cast and be like, okay, the first week this person's going to go on against this person, they're going to go home, and then you could almost tell them exactly who's going to be in the final because they'll have their 4 guys that they want in the finals, and they'll manipulate everyone else to be like, hey, well, maybe you can, and that's what they do. They pick people off. So Cara Maria doesn't do that. She's a free spirit. She speaks her own mind, and I think a lot of people actually, even though we had this like joke against person not to cheer, which it's kind of mean, but to be honest with you, a lot of people weren't excited. The thing about Cara Maria is she overplays the whole I'm a misfit type of a role. Almost to a point where she hates Johnny Bananas. She hates the people that are notorious for, the ringleaders. She's not a follower, so it actually would work out pretty good for a lot of other people that Cara Maria was there. But for the most part, the girls were mad 'cause she's good, plus she was with Cook, and a few of the guys are mad because they're like, oh, shit, that's not a vote we can have.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now, one of the big moments throughout this episode, I should say, was Anastasia and CT kind of getting into it. So how much of that were you aware of while it was going on, or were you not there for Anastasia slapping the crap out of him?
Oh, I was actually standing right there behind the camera guy while she was slapping the crap out of him. And the whole hookup thing, he told me about that like a couple hours after it happened when I woke up. So, it's the thing about everyone is I hear a lot of people right now saying CT's the jerk, CT's, they don't like him. But these girls, he can only do what they allow him to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, if a girl comes up to you and tries to flirt and you stare at them or you just tell them, like, you're an idiot, like, I'm not going to get that edit. Like, I'm not going to get the edit of being that guy. But CT, and the other thing is it's a game. So, like, not only are these girls allowing him to treat them like that, but they're just, like, falling into the trap. And, like, I don't see, like, instead of him getting it, it's like he's playing a great game. It's like what people always feel are watching the show is like, oh, this is real life. No, this is a game where there's money involved, and CT was playing these girls like chess pieces, like, So
yeah, absolutely. And even more so, just the fact that you're stuck in a house with nothing to do. So even if you just have some fun with someone, or just do anything to get rid of the boredom, like no one's gonna turn it down.
Oh, absolutely. And he was playing a hand he was dealt, and these girls fall into it. I think by the end of the season, there's probably 6 girls that he hooks up with.
Good for him.
Yeah, and like the thing is, everyone's gonna make him out to be the man whore, but all these girls knew. Like, it's not like he was meeting random girls at the bar that had no idea who he was or where he's been. These girls were all living in the same house, so like, what does that mean about them?
Yeah. So at the jungle, Anastasia seemed like she was having either a major panic attack or something. How long did the sequence take until they actually did the jungle while Anastasia was melting down?
We got there, I would say, at about 10:30. I'm going to be honest with you, we were supposed to go to the bar that night or go out to a club afterwards, and we didn't go because we got back after the bar had closed at like 2:30. So we were there for a solid 2.5, 3 hours before they even did it because of technical difficulties. And here's the thing, it's a TV show, so it's a lot. There's a production part involved, and there's things that happen that a lot of viewers and a lot of people who watch it don't understand. Like, they're like, we show up to a challenge, and it may look like we're there and out in an hour and a half. Like, we might get there at 10 in the morning, and we will not leave until 5 in the afternoon. Like, just because like they make it look like they have to film it all, and like to film it, you have to do. There's so much prep and so much stuff going on behind the scenes that sometimes like you forget. Like we are filming a TV show, and Anastasia was there for a while. She hadn't eaten. It was her very first elimination round ever. Like believe me when I say that can be very nerve-wracking. I mean, my very first elimination ever. Luckily, I got thrown under the bus. Like I didn't know I was going in until the moment I went in.
Right.
So I didn't have to deal with that, But let me tell you, like I can right now, like that's a very nerve-wracking situation, and especially for a kid who had never seen her own episode at that point.
Yeah.
So she never had seen herself on TV. She never understood like what editing could do, and now she's in a house with 31 people. She doesn't have any clue who we are, or none of us are sane, and now she's got to go in front of all these people and like hang up. It's just I felt bad for the kid.
Mm-hmm. So I actually want to just do a little flashback. I want to talk about one of my personal favorite challenge moments ever, which was your challenge with CJ last year. So just take me back to that night and just walk me through your thought process and strategy when CJ's, like, I mean, you're on the brink of going home there, so just kind of like take me through that whole challenge.
Okay, well, first of all, I should have never volunteered myself to go in. However, I'm glad I did because it's like third or fourth on like the all-time like best elimination rounds ever on TV.com. So like there's risk and reward to everything, but I'm happy I did it. It kept our team together, and ultimately we ran a good final together. But sometimes like if I didn't go, I might have won $125,000 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But going into that, it was I knew. Here's the thing: is I actually thought I was just going to steamroll this kid twice, and it's going to be over, and I was going to embarrass him. Just because of what, Big Easy did to Wes. And, like, Wes is 1,000 times a competitor versus Big Easy, and I consider myself way stronger, more athletic than CJ. To be honest, he was a punter. I played both sides of the ball in college. So, and the rules. There was rules involved where they said you cannot hold on to an athlete. You have to run through. Well, the very first one, CJ just got lower than me, but I still ran him over. He went to his knees, and I was still up. Well, I had him pinned down, and I try to go by him. He does, some whatever, like ninja move, grabs me, flips me. And now I'm kind of mad, and I'm like, okay, this kid's supposed to be my friend, and they don't say anything. So I'm kind of pissed because it's cheating. Now, the second time it goes around, I try to get lower than him. I'm not going to get lower than someone who's 6 inches shorter than me. So it's 2-0. Now I'm sitting there humiliated, thinking now I got to go back in. TJ flips the coin. I didn't think it was heads, but he said it was heads. Now I'm like, oh shit, I gotta jump. I was talking to my team, and I was like, I have to jump over him because
so there was a discrepancy as to what the coin toss actually was.
No, it we didn't see it. That's the thing. And here's the thing: is before they flipped it, everyone knew it was going to be guys. So they weren't going to send Sam and Jasmine back in there. And I didn't want
entertainment value, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so we didn't even know what the coin flip was. They didn't show us what it was. But it could have, it could have been whatever. Either way, we all knew no matter what, the guys are going back in. And I was talking to Frank and Ashley, and I was like, okay, like this hall is only 8 feet tall. I'm 6'4". So if I jump him, like I have to actually jump high enough to get over him, but still keep my head down. It's almost got to be like an Olympic hurdle.
Mm-hmm.
And it was best out of 3 again. So I'm like, okay, maybe I'll try one more time to see if I can, actually, run him over, and it didn't work. Obviously, like I grabbed onto him, he drugged me. It was embarrassing. So, I looked at Frank and Ashley, and I was like, if I don't do it, and I don't try something, I can't get lower than him. It's just impossible. Because this is pretty much just who can get lower, and if you get lower, the other person's going to fall. So last second, I hurdled him. Luckily, I didn't hit my head because that would have been embarrassing. But the best part was after I hurdled him, we looked at each other, and he had a look like, oh shit, now I have to take him head on. Because if I go low, he's going to jump me. And I mean, it was literally like there was an initial when we hit, like I kind of stopped moving my feet, but it was like moving a toddler through that hall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it was just like watching it, whatever they showed was just pure just awesomeness. So being a part of it and being there must have just been just.
You could. It was funny because you could hear when like during that entire thing, like after everyone was good job, whatever. After each applaud, after each round, you could hear a pin drop. Like no, there was people that showed up from the day shift. It was like midnight. People like were coming to watch it for entertainment. Like as soon as everyone, all the producers and assistants and camera people found out that CJ and Zach were going into the elimination round, like, 'cause I wasn't shy about it. I was pretty much said, hey, like, I'm going in, you know. You know, as soon as that happened, like you could hear a pin drop. It was literally silent. And if you ask me, that was one of the probably the finer moments of that entire season.
Yeah, I agree. It's like, based off that and based off like some of your other performances, like it seems like you're almost too good for these challenges, at least in terms of your athleticism. So, was there any hope or dream of maybe joining like an actual professional sport? Like, because I know you played arena league and whatever, but was there any hope of getting into the NFL or something like that?
I'd like to, but I think that ship has sailed. I'm going to be 26 in August, and I got, you know, I'm coaching and competing in CrossFit and strongman competitions, and it just doesn't seem, you know, viable for me. You know, like if you call someone and say, hey, I'm, you know, 26 years old, they're gonna want the guy fresh out of college. It would be great. I would have loved to. You know, I think if I came back, I could be a good like tight end or H back.
Yeah.
But I
think you'd be a great tight end. I think that would be the perfect spot for you.
I think that, I mean, I would consider, like, I think now even if I came back, I could never touch a football again and just be on a special teams guy and hit people. But I guess for now it's just going to have to be, you know, MTV and the challenges to satisfy that competitive aspect. And it also helps that as long as I stay in shape and as long as I, you know, keep up, like, I'm going to get casted. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, like, I feel like I have, like, you know, I'm an important figure to the show, you know?
Yeah, no, definitely. I can see you being one of the new faces of this challenge for hopefully it keeps going. We'll see what the ratings do for the rest of the season, but as long as they keep doing them, I expect you to keep getting calls.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I expect too, so.
Yeah. So kind of just in the challenge community, who are you closest to, like in outside real life?
Oh, man, I mean, who do I talk to? I mean, I guess you could say I talk to Leroy a little bit, CT a little bit, and I contact Trey now a little bit.
Oh, so now you guys are actually on speaking terms outside the show too.
Yeah, he's not a bad guy. He's a good guy. He means well, and we just didn't get along for stupid reasons.
Mm-hmm. So he's no longer just thought of his Mighty Mouse.
I mean, that was pretty funny, but
I mean, it's a great nickname. It's perfect.
No, I hold no ill will towards Trey.
Okay, good. So I appreciate you coming on. Where can people find you on Twitter and anything else you're a part of?
I'm on Twitter. I'm just at ZachMTV.
All right, great. So, yeah, definitely thank you for coming on, and maybe if you make it to the finals, we'll have to talk again so we can break that down.
All right, sounds good.
All right, talk to you later, man.
Bye.
Bye. There it is. The 10th edition of the Bus Drivers Are Out podcast is in the book. Hope you'll enjoy my interview with Zach. I hope to have, once again, like I said, one of these, hopefully, after each episode each week to help give you kind of the scoop about what goes down and any secrets I can get out of these challengers. So that'll just about do it for me. But let me just once again remind you to follow me on Twitter at BusDriversRoute. Of course, go to my blog, busdriversroute.com, and make sure to subscribe to these YouTube videos. Sometimes I post them on here a little bit before my blog, so if you want to get the inside scoop first, subscribe to my YouTube channel. All right, that'll do it for me. So until next time, have a good one.